Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. It's just Marco here once again, and I thought I have so much crap to do, like even just for the channel all by itself. I got the Old Man season 2, I got to do the 600 subscriber celebration. I got to do Speak No Evil, and I wanted to do this. So I thought that I should get this out of the way, and that is ranking all of Tim Burton's movies, or all the ones that I've seen, including Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. I wanted to do this video because I was talking to Safi in the car about how bad Beetlejuice 2 was. And I was like, that might be his worst movie, or that might be one of his worst. It is that bad. So, here we go. Number 12. The worst Tim Burton movie that I have seen so far is Planet of the Apes, the remake. I mean, right off the bat, and I've said this time and time again, you got Mark Wahlberg thinking he can act. This is back when Hollywood was trying to push him, and he is just so robotic, so unlikable. He is not Charlton Heston at all. And, the movie is pretty laughable, too. Like, I remember as a kid, I started off watching this movie, and I was laughing at it, I wasn't even taking it seriously. That's how bad it was to me. And it doesn't hold a candle to the original. It's pretty much like the one Planet of the Apes movie that everyone pretty much, hates. Every single original Planet of the Apes movie, and then the 4 newer ones, everyone loves those, all of those movies. But this remake is terrible. It is a movie I would never watch again. The only thing that I liked about it was I thought that the love interest was really good. I haven't really seen her in very many things. I saw her on this list of, underrated actresses, and I would agree, I'd kind of like to see her have a comeback or something. I think that the main problem with this movie is that when you watch a Tim Burton movie, you want to see the Tim Burton aesthetic. And you want to see a Tim Burton style movie. You don't get to do that in Planet of the Apes. There is nothing Tim Burton about this movie at all, except for the fact that his wife at the time, Helena Bonham Carter, she was in the movie. That's the only Tim Burton thing about the movie. It is very, very unlike him. And I just think, that's fine, I understand, a director wanting to, branch out and try to do something different, but I don't think that it works for Tim Burton, because it's just not him, there are directors, though, who can tackle different genres, like Tarantino, Scorsese, but, I don't think Tim Burton is able to do that. He's got to tell, a gothic type of story. That's just his wheelhouse, Number 11 is Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. This is one of the worst movies that I've ever seen. It is one of the worst sequels that I've ever seen. It was horrible. It was such a disappointment. The characters were cardboard cutouts. They weren't even real characters. Lydia Deetz, she was nothing like she was in the original movie. The new character that's her boyfriend, Justin Theroux, he was the worst. He was so awful. I just couldn't stand him at all. And I hated that character, Rory. And there were too many plot lines in this movie. There were 50 plot lines. And it felt more like a TV show than it did a movie. It reminded me a lot of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, which also felt like a TV show. And they even admitted with the Ghostbusters movie that they basically took, plots from the show and put it in the movie. And that's what this movie feels like, too. And in fact, I heard that they took several plots from the TV show and put it in the movie. And I'm not surprised. They couldn't handle writing a good script, so they just decided to rip off shit from the TV show. Another thing about the movie that's terrible is the fact that none of the characters, where they are in life really makes sense for the most part. Like Lydia Dietz being like the sellout, like ghost show host. It doesn't make any sense at all. It's completely out of character. Nothing in the movie has any emotional weight to it either. A big thing about the original Beetlejuice is the emotion and, feeling really bad for these two characters. They were this happy young couple. They bought this beautiful, beautiful new house together. Or did they already own it? I can't remember. But, I think they bought it. I can't remember, though. I'm really sorry. I love that movie, but, I can't remember. But, feeling bad for them because they died so young and these horrible people are trying to take over and ruin their house. And, there's a story there. There's one story, and it's told very well. And there's a lot of substance to that movie, but this movie has no substance at all. It's basically a 2-hour commercial, and I hate it. I fucking hate it. Number 10 is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Yes, I will say Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, as bad as it is, is better than Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. The reason being, I think that there are elements of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory that work. I actually really enjoy the movie on a guilty pleasure level. I find myself going back to that movie sometimes. I'm really nostalgic for Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory type of stuff. When I was a kid, I would go on this Willy Wonka website and they had all these games that you could play, and I would love to play those. And I remember that you could get Charlie and the Chocolate Factory toys from Wendy's, I think. And I remember getting some chicken nuggets and getting the squirrel toy. And I don't know, but this movie's bad. It's really bad. Johnny Depp thinking he can act as Willy Wonka. It just does not work at all. And then he has that whole stupid backstory that doesn't work at all. And just, the movie is a mess, but it's a fun mess. I have a lot of fun with it. It's bizarre. In fact, I probably could put it one. In fact, I will. Okay, so we're switching things around. Sorry, guys. This is what happens when I kind of talk things out, Yeah. So that was number 9. Number 10 is Alice in Wonderland. This is a movie where, I haven't seen any other Alice in Wonderland version. I'm familiar with the story. I performed the play in elementary school, and that's, it is what it is. I don't think that the movie is that great, but I don't think the movie is terrible. I've seen a lot of people who say that it's his worst movie, but I thought that there was a sequel, and I don't know if he did the sequel or not, but I'm pretty sure the sequel's probably worse, but I think that there's elements of this movie that kind of work. I don't know. It's really not for me. I'm not really the biggest Alice in Wonderland buff. I don't know. It is what it is. It's a forgettable movie. And speaking of forgettable movies, I know I'm going to offend people with this video. I really don't care. It's my opinion. Number 8 is The Corpse Bride. I was really looking forward to this movie when it came out. I saw the trailer in theaters and I thought, ooh, that looks really cool. And then I saw the movie one time in theaters and I've never seen it again. That's how I would describe this movie. I saw it once and I've never seen it again. I like claymation and I appreciate the movie. I mean, I'm sure it's a good movie, but like I'm just nah. I'll watch it if a girl wants me to watch it, but that's pretty much it. Like I'm not gonna go out of my way to watch The Corpse Bride. Number 7 is Dark Shadows. I know what you're saying, like, wow, really? Yes. This movie's bad. It's really, really bad. But it's also, again, a lot of fun. It's a guilty pleasure type of movie at its best. It's so infuriating because it feels like Tim Burton, he could have revitalized the Dark Shadows series. He could have really, like just think about Wednesday. I know that Wednesday, it takes like 20 years to make a short, tiny little 8-episode season, but like think about like the franchising opportunities of Dark Shadows and how well a series could have done nowadays. Like I really would have loved to have seen like a modern Dark Shadow series, but Tim Burton even admitted that he only wanted to do this one movie, and Johnny Depp apparently always wanted to play Barnabas Collins. It's news to me. I actually did like him in this movie. I felt like he gave it his all, and there were some serious moments in the movie too with him, and I felt like this movie should not have taken the comedic route. It should have been straight up horror. I think if it was more horror, it would have been a lot better. I think people would have liked it more too. It also has a really interesting sex scene in the movie. It's probably one of the better sex scenes that I've seen between him and then the Eva Green character. Like that scene is really hilarious and fun and totally like a Tim Burton thing. I also didn't like how they rushed through the stories from the show. Like they basically took some stories from the TV show and rushed through them. And again, they had too many plot lines going on. Number 6 is Batman Returns. This movie is a good Batman movie. I like it. I love the Penguin. I love Catwoman too. I'm just not the biggest fan of this movie. Like, I'll watch it if it's on, but, like, again, I won't go out of my way to watch this movie. I do definitely think that it is one of his better movies because I really love the gothic feel. I love how it takes place around Christmas time. And, yeah, it's a good sequel. It's actually, like... It makes me wish that I could have seen, like, a third Tim Burton Batman movie, because, like, maybe the third one could have been the best one, or maybe it could have been on par with this. I don't know, I don't know. I heard that he wanted to have, like, Marlon Wayans as Robin or something, and it's like, ew, that sounds retarded, so, I don't know. But that series kind of like fell off the roof and then hit itself really hard on the ground and died. Sorry, I was just being brutally honest. Number 5 is Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. I actually really like this movie. I think that it's a little underrated. I'm not really usually a guy who likes musicals, but I actually really like this movie. I think that, once again, Johnny Depp did a good job in this movie. I think that he gave, like... I mean, I don't think that there will ever be another Sweeney Todd movie that'll beat this movie. I also love the gothic aesthetic. I love almost everything about this movie. I really, really enjoy it. The only thing that I don't like is that stupid side character... And I know that he's in the musical, but that stupid side character guy who looks like a girl, and he's in love with, like, the daughter of Sweeney or whatever, and, like, I don't like that character. But other than that, I really love this movie a lot. Like, I could watch it again right now. I think I did watch it like last year or at the beginning of this year. I can't remember, but like I got in the mood to watch it and I fucking watched it. Number 4, and also, by the way, you guys know Sacha Baron Cohen, the guy who thinks that he's funny and he's not. This is probably like the only good performance he's ever given in a movie. And I know that's kind of controversial, I don't care. Number 4 is Batman, Tim Burton's Batman. This movie was very influential, I think, on superhero movies in general. I feel like I love, again, the gothic aesthetic of the movie. I love the theme song. The Batman music in this movie is iconic. I love the Joker, even though he's not really very scary. He is kind of dark. Like, he's a lot more mature than people give him credit for. Like, people really, when they talk about him, they basically just write him off as like a joke. But like, he is really, really kind of creepy at points in the movie, but not too creepy. You know, that's what I think could have been better about the movie, is I think that the Joker could have been a lot scarier. I saw that originally, it was either Tim Burton or no, not it wasn't. He wasn't gonna play the Joker in his own movie. No, it was originally gonna be like Robin Williams or Tim Curry. No, Tim Curry was gonna do the animated series, but like, yeah, I would have loved to have seen what either of them would have done with the character. Number 3 is Ed Wood. I wish that Tim Burton would do more movies like Ed Wood. Ed Wood is probably his most conventional movie while also having that Tim Burton-y aesthetic. You know, this is a character, Ed Wood, that, you know, people probably wouldn't really know about nowadays if not for this movie that he made. I love the performances in the movie. Like, I love Martin Landau as Bela Lugosi. I think that Johnny Depp did a great job. It's also probably like the best movie about making a movie or making movies, or it's one of the best movies about making movies, because like, it doesn't really, it's not as mean-spirited. You know, there's so many, and I'm a fan of red letter media, but there's so many, even me, I'm guilty of it sometimes. There are so many channels nowadays and movies about making movies, and they're so mean-spirited and negative. And I really feel like, you know, I don't want to sound pretentious or sound like I'm full of myself or anything, but when you understand what it's like to make a movie, a lot of that negativity that you would normally feel towards smaller movies especially, a lot of that negativity goes away, because you realize like it's a huge pain in the rear end to make a movie. It's a lot of work, and even if you think everything's going to go well, everything doesn't go well. There's always going to be stuff that just does not turn out the way you wanted it to turn out. I feel like too that a lot of people are really unfair towards smaller movies as opposed to blockbuster movies like Deadpool and Wolverine and Beetlejuice 2. You know, people give them so much more leniency, and like the Star Wars too, it's like, oh, you're not allowed to criticize Star Wars, because if you do, you're being mean and you're bullying and you're you're threatening the safe space of the Star Wars community. But like, when it comes to like, let's say like Ed Wood movies, it's like, no, you can tear them to shreds. You can be as mean as you want. And it's like, that's what I love about this movie, is that instead of being so mean and awful to Ed Wood, it really almost celebrates him as this kind of like naive, likable guy he's just not very good at making movies. But even if he's not very good, he still did it he still made all these movies. He still, worked with Bela Lugosi and tried to help him, and he was his friend. And so I really like this movie a lot. I feel like it's definitely one of the best movies that I've ever seen. And I'm going to watch that movie too, because like, it's fun to watch movies about making movies while you're making movies. I could definitely have a movie made about making my movie, and it'll be a lot more intense and dramatic and hardcore. Number 2 is Edward Scissorhands. I just saw this movie for the first time this year as part of my watching every Winona Rider movie. I fucking loved this movie. I loved this movie. It was so perfect. The aesthetic, the small town. It's so colorful, this movie. It's funny. It's fun. The main character's really likable. Winona Rider's in the movie. And the only thing that I don't like about the movie is the ending. The ending just doesn't make any sense. It feels like it's a forced tragedy. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like... It doesn't hit the way that they wanted it to hit for me. It just kind of pisses me off. And it's like, no, I don't like that. So... But I love this movie. I think it's a masterpiece. I could watch it again right now. Johnny Depp, once again, did a great job. Like, for all the shit that people give him for those couple of bad movies that he made with Tim Burton, he's done a great job being, like, his leading man. So, yeah. In fact, I would dare to say that only one of these movies on this list is bad because of Johnny Depp, and that's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And that movie was definitely... He should not have been Willy Wonka. But other than that, I think that he was well cast for all those other characters. In fact, I think that Tim Burton did him a disservice in Dark Shadows for not making it a better movie and not pushing it to be a series. And what I mean by series is like a movie series. I don't mean like a TV show. Because, we all know what TV shows are like nowadays. They can't have 5 seasons or more. They can't have more than 10 episodes. And every season has to take 5 years to make. That is what true TV shows are like now. As opposed to back then when it was like 24 episodes, 10 seasons, 1 season a year. They really did a good job making TV shows back then. Like, if I was running for president, the first thing that I would do is, like, make TV shows great again. Because, like, I'm serious. Like, it really pisses me off. Because, like, you look for... And this is a bit of a tangent, but, like... You look forward to your favorite TV show every year. It's like this positive thing that like, oh yeah, that's going to be my favorite TV show is going to come on in the summer. Oh, my favorite show's coming on in October. And nowadays, it's like you don't even remember the last season of what you just watched. Like it's like 5 years later and you're like, oh yeah, what happened in The Old Man season 1? Yeah. So number 1 is Beetlejuice. I think that this movie is a flawless movie. It's perfect from beginning to end. Winona Rider's really good. It's funny too because like, I didn't have a crush on her as a kid. I just liked her a little bit. It's only now that I've had a huge crush on her. Not in Beetlejuice. I know that I didn't want you guys to think the wrong thing, but like, her as an adult, like in Edward Scissorhands, etc., like, I've only recently gotten really interested in her, like, but as a kid, like, I just liked the movie a lot. Like, I love, even though I hate what Gina Davis, she has turned into a monster that must be destroyed. She's a feminazi monster, and so is Alec Baldwin. He's a monster, too. I mean, say what you will about feminazis, but like Alec Baldwin, oh God, he is definitely worse. He is a worse human being. So, but yeah, I mean, this couple, they had such a great story. They had such great chemistry with Winona Rider too. And that's another thing that I think was missing from the sequel is their presence. And I love how the movie is pretty dark, but it's still like kind of like a children's movie, or it's a movie that really anyone could watch. I love how Beetlejuice, he is funny, but he is also really, really creepy. He could easily kill you. He could easily be like a Hellraiser type character if this was like a different story where it didn't turn out to be such a happy ending, and so that's another thing about the sequel is that Beetlejuice himself is kind of like a pussified version of Beetlejuice. As well, I don't know, I love this movie. It is so perfect. It is the perfect Tim Burton movie. It has everything that you could want in one of his movies and more. And don't see the sequel. Just watch the original Beetlejuice. Okay, like stay the hell away from Beetlejuice if you don't want to have a terrible day like I did. I mean, I got popcorn. I brought candy to the movies. I brought Tootsie Pops, Tootsie Rolls, Reese's Cups and shit. Like I was like excited for that movie, and I was like, wow, Tim Burton's really gone downhill, man. So anyways, please like this video and comment. And tell me, what do you think is Tim Burton's best movie? And what do you think is his worst movie? And then please also subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more honest videos about this. Because that's what I really like about this channel is like the discussion of like, you can completely disagree with me and I'd still love to have you as a subscriber. I'd still love to talk to you about whatever subject I'm talking about, because like it's no fun if everyone just agrees on everything, like that's not reality, and I think that that's another thing that society has totally gone off the rails with, is that like everyone has to think the same. Like, oh, you don't think that political opinion that I think? Oh, well, you're a bad person, and that's not what this channel's about. So anyways, goodbye everybody. See you soon for the 600 subscriber celebration.